How's it going, guys, and welcome to this live showdown between the Tomb Kings and the Dwarves. So in this match, we're going to try something a little bit different. Rather than using a bunch of Ushopti Great Bows for our armor-piercing units, we're going to be using a couple groups of the Skeleton Chariots. So there are indeed no Ushopti Great Bows. This might be actually the first game since I started playing Tomb Kings in which I haven't used them. Definitely feeling a little bit naked without them. But for the front line, we just have skeletons. Obviously, if you want to have a ton of beasts and constructs, you can see we have two Tomb Scorpions, we have a Khemrian War Sphinx. We do also have Cetra on the Khemrian War Sphinx, so a ton of armor piercing, anti-infantry on all of these guys. You're going to have a little bit of a haggard front line. So we do have these skeleton warriors here, so let's go ahead and just set up a bit of a loose formation here. Don't want them like, you can put them shoulder to shoulder, but against the dwarves, sometimes they'll have like a flame cannon or some sort of artillery that can, chip at both groups. So I like to spread them out just a little bit. So let's go ahead and put these guys like this. And I wonder where he's going to deploy. He'll probably go, if my dwarf instincts are tingling, he's probably going to go up on the high ground, like in this corner right here, and just force me to march across the Shadow Realm, which is fine. I'm kind of used to that anyway. So let's go ahead and put these guys in kind of a back supporting role. What we'll do with them is just peel them up and around the back of the formation and see if we can draw out some more troops that are essentially more valuable than them. So Tomb Scorpion 1 here. The other Tomb Scorpion can go right here. This Khemrian War Sphinx can be right here, just ready to party. And good. That's pretty much it for our main formation. We are, of course, going to have a ton of skirmish cav and, think, well, not even skirmish cav. These are the Nehekar warriors, which are pretty decent, 38 weapon strength. If you get them onto like the right targets, they can do some pretty good damage. So let's go ahead and just square them up back here for now. We'll just put them in the main formation. The one thing about this build that's a little bit stressful is just like how much is in it. There's just so much stuff. It's just skeletons and just spookiness and just all kinds of shenanigans. So we can go ahead and Vanguard back here. I'm a little bit hesitant to Vanguard like in the corner because I feel like he's going to be there. Just the dwarf way. All right, no, so he's going to meet us in open field, right on. All right, perfect. So we're going to come over here. Oh, gyrocopters. Oh, yes. Give me that sweet, sweet goodness. So gyrocopters, as you guys know, have a lot of problems with like fellbats and things like that. So we're just going to square up like this. And it looks like our chariots are taking a little bit of damage. So let's go ahead and pull our chariots. Like these ones, our group 2 is over here. So they can go ahead and run that way. These guys can go around this way. It's actually, so I'm holding down the shift button and right clicking when I do that. That's how I do that. I know a lot of you guys have been asking. So a very sturdy front line from the Dawi. So we're definitely going to be taking quite a bit of a beating as we go forward here. So it's just kind of a, such is life. So let's go ahead and get in there, hammer some of those guys. These horsemen, we probably want to run them up and around here. Although, yeah, we don't really have a choice there. So I guess we just go in. I could be like super patient and just wait, but I think we're just going to go for it. So Chariot's taking a bit of firepower, but nothing terribly devastating. Skeleton warriors are getting chipped out a little bit here. These horsemen, we can go up and around. And at least the carrion are chasing down the gyrocopters. That's like the one thing we have going for us that's going to be really solid. So let's actually just go on these rangers, like just heavy, heavy push on those rangers. These chariots, yeah, let's actually do the long lap and see if we can loop up and around. But we need to shut down the ranger play. So we're going to have Cetra go on this one. We're going to have these guys go here, and these guys just push through. So the skeletons will probably get like a sum total of like 10 or 15 kills. But, honestly, that's they're doing their duty. They're doing their people proud. Khemrian War Sphinx, a little bit lax on getting him in, but we are going to take losses in the initial charge, but, it's okay. So it looks like we're doing okay. We have some cav coming around here, so let's get these guys going on the raiders. We don't want them to be able to like set and fire. That's going to be a big, big issue. So let's go ahead and give him some physical resist because he might be taking a volley right here. It could also trigger a little bit of a heal for us. Great. So the chariots and everyone are sneaking around the far side of the map. We do trigger that heal through the Soul's ability. These guys are not taking much work at all. Interesting. So let's get these Nehekar cav going on those guys. These guys can kind of just push in as well. And the Tomb Scorpions are just shredding those guys, which is going to be really solid. All right, so we're finally getting in here. We do have these guys. Let's get them around the back. Let's get these chariots they can run into those long breeds since they're not braced. And yeah, I think that's everything. Everything is actually fighting now, which is good. So the Nehekar horsemen, let's pull them up and around the back here. We can just have Cetra. Honestly, like there's nothing there that's really going to do a lot to him, so we can just have him keep fighting. Tomb Scorpions, we just want her to be trolling around in the back line, like causing as much stress as humanly possible. And let's get these guys going here. And the chariot got caught there and didn't do too much damage. Those chariots don't have the best armor piercing values. So let's go ahead and buff up Cetra again, just kind of, make him our MVP here. Let's get these cav coming here. These guys can go here, and the chariots can go ahead. Actually, we want these cav to probably shut down that organ gun. I'm sure it's just been wreaking absolute havoc on us right now. All right, so we're getting into these guys. We can cast the incantation to buff up our skeletons and give us some, goodies all across the map. Tomb Scorpion's doing a lot of work, and it looks like he does have Grom Brindle, who's probably been sitting there trying to fight those guys. But all right, we're going to take an overarching look at the map. Looks to be pretty good. Let's charge into the back of those warriors of Dragonfire Pass. And he doesn't have any Slayers, so he put a lot of credence in his missile troops and things like that. So I think we're going to be okay. Tomb Scorpion, let's have you go ahead and sit there. These chariots, let's grab you guys, pull you guys back here. These chariots can go ahead and charge into them. And it looks like it should be a good charge in the back. Oh, wow, that was that was super lame. Oh, my goodness, what's going on there? Yeah, Yeah, these Tomb Scorpions are just absolute beasts. I mean, they're doing so much work in the front lines. Let's get you guys fighting some miners. And we could summon some Ushopti. Let's do that and just see if we can, like, pile drive these guys real quick. Get those Ushopti doing some heavy lifting. So we'll get the skeletons pushing over here. These chariots, we'll get you guys back, pull you guys back over here. Try and reform ranks with those guys and just, you know, keep the Tomb Scorpions fighting that good fight. So far we are getting to the back line, and I'm just shutting down his Altar's Raiders. Basically, when you're in this type of a situation, you just want to get rid of everything that can do work against your constructs. Once you clear out those threats, you pretty much have free range. So it looks like the Organ Gun's offline. Our Khemrian War Sphinx is having a jolly old time here. Let's get him on the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. And the Chariots, yeah, I guess, I mean, we can have you guys go in the back of the Longbeards. That should be fine. Have you guys go here. Let's pull the Ushopti over here on these Dwarf Warriors. And good. So a lot of his missiles are getting fairly compromised right now. The Tomb Scorpions are getting into those Dwarves. Very, very powerful units, for sure. But, you know, it looks like, I think the Carrion, did they just kill those things? I totally forgot about it. Oh, no, it looks like they're still chasing, which is ridiculous. That's good, though. That's like, that was a lot of his AP was coming from those gyrocopters, I think. So getting those guys offline is going to be very, very good. So we get that charge with the chariots into the back of those troops. Seems to do some okay damage. Let's actually just turn around and just go right into these guys and charge again. So Setra, we have a ton of Winds of Magic, so let's actually give some physical resist to these guys. We can also use this, I mean, what is this? What is this ability again? This is, oh, the missile damage one. I totally did not need to bring that. Oh man, that's so bad. All right, so these guys are doing a pretty good job, just having a good time. So let's actually get the Khemrian War Sphinx, who is the fastest of our constructs, and have him push like up and around and see what he can do. So chariots, we'll charge him into those Dwarf Warriors right now, just keep them running and having a good time. And it looks like Setra should be able to finish these guys off, but I feel like having Setra fighting these Dwarf Warriors here is a bit of a waste. So let's buff these guys, and let's get him running up here to finish off these Quarrelers. I don't want any miss, even if they aren't like heavy armor-piercing missiles. I don't want, you know, them to be doing anything to me. We definitely don't want to be fighting Grombrindle. He's like, you saved Gromby for last, so let's just go and like ignore Grombrindle. He's pretty slow. We just pick off everything else on the map, and we should be okay. But it looks like I left a little bit prematurely. Maybe should have stayed and fought for a moment, but we do collapse those guys. So let's collapse here, get these chariots over here, and get these chariots over here. How are these Carrion doing? Oh my goodness, this is so ridiculous. All right, so that gyrocopter, let's bring these guys back. They can go feast on the cannon crew. Cetra's going to finish those guys off. Looks like we can get this crew. And if it does go to like a really late game situation, we want to make sure he isn't able to get, you know, his artillery back online. That could be absolutely devastating. So we'll cast the Narrows Incantation on the Tomb Scorpion to kind of buff him up. And let's go ahead and get in here and just, you know, do it to it. Have some fun. And this Tomb Scorpion, they have some really cool attack animations, these guys. Definitely a very solid unit. And they're really hard to pin down because of their attack animations. Like sometimes they'll just, you know, like they'll be like completely surrounded and they'll like get out of it simply because of their attack animation. So chariots are back online here. So let's go ahead and get a big Tomb King chariot charge on the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Let's see how they do. I'm liking the chariots. My play with them has been like pretty terrible, but for the most part, I think they seem like okay. Yeah, there you go. Getting a little something in there. They don't feel as good as like, you know, Razor Gore chariots or the Gore Beast chariots that the Chaos Warriors have. But, you know, they're good. They have a lot of models. That's the thing about them. They have, like, a high model count. So let's get these guys fighting here. Where's our... These guys are just, like, giant dogs. The way they run. They, like... It's hard to articulate it, but they have that run that is pretty ridiculous. So, come on, chariots, be free. All right, so let's get you chariots coming back in here to crush some of these guys. Get these cav over here. Have you guys finish off those. And it looks like our Carrion are able to, you know, pick off the scraps, which is good. We're going to go ahead and buff Setra. Get him heal on most of our non-construct units, so it's basically just going to be Setra and these chariots. I think will be benefiting from the heal. But Grombrindle is still, you know, still a force to be reckoned with for sure. Chariots, let's pull them out. Always gotta. I was a little real soppy in the beginning of the game, so I gotta pick that up. We definitely don't want Setra dueling Gromby. We wanna save Gromby for last and just like cleave all these dwarfs with the Tomb Scorpions and different things like that. So let's see if we can get Setra out of there and those gyrocopters. What he probably should have done is get the gyrocopters and have them, you know, get covering fire from some of the troops on the ground. Look at those blasting charges. Let's get these guys around here. Setra, let's get you out of there. He's a little bit pinned down by something. Let's see if he can squeeze out that direction. We'll give some armor-piercing damage to this Tomb Scorpion just to make sure he finishes off the last of these dwarves. And we can use Setra to go clean out the periphery of the battlefield. So the 28 dwarves here, some of these other troops. Okay, those guys are taken care of. These gyrocopters are taken care of. Khemrian War Sphinx doing pretty good. And it looks like that's going to be it. So GG to my opponent. It was a long, grindy, atrocious battle. It always is against the dwarves, I found. But I think like the biggest factor, honestly, like was the Carrion. Like they chased those gyrocopters. I think one of them actually even got chased off the battlefield. Like it had leadership issues and just ran off, and the Carrion chased it. So if you're going to bring gyrocopters, in my opinion, it looks like he brought the spray ones against light armor, which isn't bad. It could clear out fodder real quick and drop some bombs and then allow his other troops to be less impeded. But if you're going to bring gyrocopters, you definitely want to allocate resources to protecting them. Like, fly over your army with the gyrocopters, have them engage in melee with the carrion, and then shoot the crossbows and the other troops at them. And I think that's going to be a bit more of a powerful decision. But aside from that, Quarrelers are okay. I think in this matchup you want Thunderers or Rangers with great weapons or things that have better AP, because he just didn't really have the stopping power to deal with my heavily armored troops. I mean, he had a bunch of Dwarf Warriors. So this is an army that on paper can really pound skeletons and Nehekar Warriors and Tomb Guard and things like that. But he had the Organ Gun, he had Grombrindle, he had a couple armor-piercing troops and miners here and there, and the Rangers, which are all good inclusions, but ultimately we were able to shut him down a little bit too quick. But the initial damage he got with that Organ Gun shooting at my, what are those guys called? Like, he did a ton of damage against my Chariots and Cav, and I basically lost one of my Nehekar Cav before they even got there. So he probably got his money back on that Organ Gun. But yeah, it's definitely fun stuff. I would just recommend maybe mixing in Thunderers, a couple more like armor-piercing troops. You definitely have to bring Slayers in this matchup. I recommend bringing at least one group, but two is usually pretty safe, because a Slayer can, especially Dragonback, they can, drag down a Cambrian War Sphinx. They can do well against the Scorpions. Like, they have a good matchup, I think. At least one is going to be a really nice safeguard in the back line. Mainly just the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, because they do have that slow, which is so good at, slowing down these type of characters. So very well played to my opponent, Shady. Look forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this live Tomb King Showdown. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.